And the Georgia Bulldogs are back on top for a second straight year. UGA won back-to-back national titles last night in dominant fashion, beating TCU 65-7. Stetson Bennett was the star again for the 15-0 Bulldogs, throwing 4 touchdowns and rushing for 2 more in his final college game. Now, the 58-point win is the largest bowl margin in the FBS history, and the 65 points is the most ever in a national championship game. You can see them here on this list, beating out USC's win over Oklahoma back in 2004. Now, according to our Dennis Dodd, Stetson Bennett, who won CFP Offensive MVP, will not be at the press conference. Kirby Smart and some other players, they are at the podium. They were speaking just moments ago, so let's take a listen.
Thanks for you guys showing up. Appreciate the coverage you guys give us. Not quite as full a room as it was last year, so I guess some of you guys celebrated last night. But appreciate you being here, appreciate the coverage you give us and what college football means to so many. And I appreciate these 2 young men for what they've meant to our program, and all our fans that spent a lot of money to come out here and celebrate with us and play in a national championship, which is really hard to do. I have a great appreciation for our players, our coaches, our training staff, our support staff. There's just like hundreds of people that sacrifice time away from their family to give us an opportunity to play in an event last night. And a lot of thanks to the CFP for what they put on, and an incredible event, and we certainly appreciate it.
We're going to take our first question right down here, very front.
Hey, Kirby, Zach Klein from Channel 2 in Atlanta. First thing, Stetson was supposed to be here this morning. How's the young man feeling the day after? And 2, a few days ago, you were talking about your season for next year start actually today. Are you going to put that on pause and appreciate what you guys were able to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I am concerned about our season in next year. I'll be thinking about that the entire flight home and things we can do right now. Like what's important now, right? WIN, that's our motto. And I know people think that's like unheard of, but you actually have to. There'll be time to take off. It's just not today because decisions are imminent. We have several players on our team who stuck it out. Like they didn't have to. They could have said, I'm going in the portal. We had several guys that said, Coach, I'd like to go in the portal. I'm going to go in the portal, but I want to win a national championship. And like, that makes me want to cry because they did it for the team over themselves. And that makes me really proud. So, you know, that time is now for them because the portal is a real thing. It's a vehicle to go somewhere else where you can be successful. And we had some guys make sacrifices to do that. So I think that's pretty cool. As far as Stetson, I don't know. I didn't see him, obviously.
Take our next question right here on our left in the front. Dennis?
Kirby, you said somewhere or another in the run-up to this game that it's human nature just to let down after winning 1. You talk about that, and how do you get to 3?
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about 3. I mean, that's it's human nature to relax. It's human nature to take the easy route, and I can be as guilty of that as anyone. But it wasn't this team's nature to relax. This team, this wasn't as hard a job as people made it seem because of the people we recruited, not because of talent, but because of what they were like, the DNA inside them. Like these dudes, this team was different. This team was just different. And every time they were backed against the wall, they came out scratching, clawing. Like we had a bad practice, we'd have a great practice. They responded to everything. So the team's like makeup. You know, I didn't talk about this enough last night. Our team GPA was the highest we've ever had in like 15 years at Georgia. Georgia's not easy. Georgia's hard academically. So like when you have people that do well in school, they care about each other. I mean, Georgia's not getting easier academically. You have a chance at success, and these guys bought into that. So like starting to think about the next one, I do think it's going to be much tougher, and I do think we're gonna have to reinvent ourselves next year, because you can't just stay the same. And like these two guys up here, like they're coming back, and we have a lot of guys, in my opinion, that are going to come back, and it's easy to get comfortable, and comfortable does not win.
Stay down here on the front row to our left.
Hey, Kirby, Ralph Russo from the Associated Press, and it's a follow-up to what Dennis just asked. Because you are, trying to build something greater than a one-off championship, than just a championship team, you're trying to build a championship program. Does this season, I don't know, validate the right word, but provide a little bit more proof of concept that you're building, that your vision is really coming true?
It's awesome, but I don't want their careers. I don't want their self-worth or our program's self-worth to be built on just championships. I get it. I get that's what you define, Joe Montana on, Tom Brady on, LeBron and Kobe and Michael Jordan on the number of championships. I don't want these young men to be defined by that. I don't want my career to be defined by that, because I know tons of coaches and players out there that didn't get one that had unbelievable careers. So I never hang a hat or say, you validate. All I want to do is be the best I can be today. And I want these kids to know that they need to be the best they can each and every day so they can be successful. And if you measure success based on wins in each day, that's what I want our success to be measured on.
Next question over still to our left or in the middle.
Kirby, the question was all week about Darnell. What did you see from him as he was working to Monday night, trying to be able to play, and then the fact he was able to play at all, just what it said about Darnell?
Yeah, I think our training staff did a phenomenal job, and they can do the greatest job in the world, but if the player doesn't want to buy into that, then it's probably not going to happen. So he was not able to practice the entire time we were in Athens. We came to LA, he ran with the team and ran decent on the first day we were here, and then he practiced. And we felt like there was going to be a good chance he was going to be able to play. There was no chance of doing any more damage. And Darnell, is a classic guy that came to Georgia with the sole purpose of having an opportunity at the NFL. He wanted to play in the NFL. And by the time he left, he was one of the toughest players we had. Missouri, his shoulder pops out, and he will not come out of the game. I mean, he made 2 probably career-defining catches against Missouri, contested catches with a shoulder that was hurt, and he wouldn't come out. LSU, he gets cut. He's 6'7", and they cut him right at his ankles and shins, nothing worse than that, and he's waving people off. I'm not coming out. Like, I'm pissed off. And to see that growth and see him care about winning the game last night, like he played last night selflessly. Not a lot of throws targeted for Darnell. It was blocking and covering people up. And that part will always hold a special place in my heart for the sacrifices he made for our team.
Next question over here, slightly to our right on the aisle.
Yeah, Coach Brooks Austin with Dogs Daily. I feel like I watched you guys morph week in and week out. At one point this season, you said there was 0 overlap for 4 weeks defensively. What kind of football intelligence, you talked about the GPA, what kind of football intelligence does it require to have to play at Georgia?
Yeah, a lot. JB will tell you, man, we spend a lot of time. I don't know how other people do it, so I don't want to brag and say, oh, well, we do this or that. I don't know what other people do. But I do know at our place, we expand the brain. Like we stretch it and we stretch it and we stretch it. And then when you need to stretch it more in the game and change something, they have a comfort level with change. Like he sits in a meeting every day. We make him talk. We make him communicate. We make him take notes because we think that's going to be the difference in the end. And it makes things easier to go from an offense that might be completely different when you're not afraid to change. And hey, I want to give a lot of talk last night about Stetson and Brock and offense, and this guy's the defensive MVP. But our defensive staff now, Coach Schumann, Coach Muschamp, Chidera, Fran, and Trey Scott did a hell of a job. Now that was, I don't know, 4th, 5th leading scoring offense in the country. I don't care what league you play in. Pretty incredible.
Next question over here to our far right on the aisle.
Yeah, Kirby, Mike Griffith from AJC Dog Nation. Obviously, Brock's had an incredible career. We know about his All-American status, and Stetson's, I guess, legacy is probably the best word. You had a couple of former three-star recruits this year in Kenny McIntosh and Ladd McConkey that, you don't see them getting all the All-American honors or the highlights. Can you talk about what those guys meant to the offense this season in terms of leading the team in yards from scrimmage?
Yeah, Kenny, man, I can't even believe that he would be considered a three-star. That's just disgusting to even think about because this guy's an incredible athlete. I mean, his brother played in the NFL. He's got great DNA. Kenny is a great example of our program. He came in as a, chubby kid with a great smile, playing behind people, and didn't know how to play on special teams. He left as like an alpha leader, and when he spoke, people really listened to Kenny. Like, I've never seen a person will a team to a win like he did in Missouri. The guy was basically running crippled out there against Missouri and pounding people and running the ball. He took over games. I can remember the Florida game after the fumble. I'll never forget the visualization I have of he fumbles, and we say, you know what? We got to come back to Kenny. And he comes back with vengeance, running the ball, just mad. And those memories will stay with me forever. And Ladd's another one. Ladd's, thanks to YouTube and smartphones, I probably wouldn't know who Ladd was because I watched him at a camp, just unbelievable quickness and suddenness, and he was beating kids that we were recruiting. And I'm like, why is nobody recruiting this guy? Like, what did he do? What did he do to not garner attention? Because all he does is make plays. And there's a certain element of you get a full day's work out of guys like Bull and Brock, man. When they come to practice, we have to slow these two dudes down. Like, hey, slow down. That's how Ladd is. And when you have that kind of culture, it makes success come much easier.
Right down here in the very front.
Mark Weiser, Athens Banner Herald for Javon and for Kirby. When you hear the words dynasty with Georgia football, do you think that fits this program now?
This place is special. It's special to all of us. I know it's special to Coach Smart. I know it's special to me. Just growing up as a kid from the state of Georgia and playing for the University of Georgia, it's special. So the word dynasty, it's something that we're building together, and that was built before us, and it's going to continue to be built after us. So we're just trying to leave our legacy and leave this place in good hands.
What's cool is listening to the guys in the locker room. That locker room last night, it's first class, as good a facility as there is. And it's probably the newest NFL stadium for all I know. And you got Jamari in there, you got N'Kobe in there, you got DK in there, you got Sony in there. There's so many guys that played come back, and they talk about how much they miss it. And I always tell our players, the players think I'm crazy. They're like, oh, whatever, we want to get to the NFL. All you do when you get to the NFL is want to be back in that locker room. Because there's never, I don't care what locker room you got in the NFL, there's never that feeling of brotherhood because the guy across from you is trying to take your job. And in our locker room, it's so different. And to be around that last night, it brings to me that we built something special because these guys want to come back. They want to talk to the other guys. Monty Rice, this guy, he sacrificed everything for our program and unfortunately didn't get a chance to win one. But I tell them all the time, they're part of these because they created the culture that allows us to win it now. And that's what's special.
Right down here in the very front row.
Chip Towers, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. For Brock, when did you find out this morning that you were going to be coming here? And for Coach Smart, you're flanked by a couple of sophomores right there. We assume they're coming back. But where are you right now with roster management kind of knowing? Are you still actively dealing with, hey, he might go in the portal, hey, he may turn pro? Where are you with knowing what you got coming back next year?
Yeah, for me, I was coming off the elevator. I saw Coach Smart, and I started walking to go eat some breakfast, and I just got a call, and they said, you're in the bullpen coming to media. I was like, okay. Stetson's not going to make it. I was like, I guess I got to go. So,
yeah. He's always wanted to be in Stetson's shoes, so now he gets an opportunity. As far as roster management, it's every day. It's continuous. I mean, we know the juniors coming out, and you mentioned about these guys. They better be coming back because they can't come out. So they better get ready to go to work, and they're going to be some of the key leaders. But we'll be dealing with it every day. I mean, we've been dealing with it and it's not like it just goes away, guys. I've been dealing with it a week before, the day of. We were dealing with it yesterday. I mean, we have 19 new guys that started classes yesterday. So we deal with it every single day, and it'll continue to be that way, and you respect the process. My saying is you got to be better at the process than everybody else is. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better at it than everybody else is. So if you're willing to work at it and have conversations.
All right, if you're just joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, that was Kirby Smart addressing the media after Georgia's back-to-back win, making them back-to-back champs. Now, Georgia has claimed national titles here in school history. There it is, 2021, 2022 with Kirby Smart, 15-0 season this year, 14-1 last season. The other two championships that UGA has, 1980 and also back in 1942. Again, Georgia winning the national title after just blowing out TCU 65-7.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.